Alright guys, I'm out here with Haiboxing's newest stadium truck, the 2997A. Now, in a previous video, I had this thing, I ran it on the stock 2S LIPOs and it hit over 30 miles an hour. However, it fell short of Haiboxing's claim of 45 miles an hour and above on 3S. So today, I'm going to be testing 3 different 3S LIPOs in this truck. Now, I'm also going to run the Urgenex 3S 2200 mAh again to get a baseline. It's a different day, different conditions, and this battery has a few more cycles through it as well, so it might be a little faster. Now I'm also going to run a smaller battery, this LiperiAir 850 mAh. This thing is an absolute ripper. It fits in my Haiboxing 16890A and is one of my 2 fastest LIPOs in that truck. Being smaller, however, it's not going to have as much performance potential, everything else being equal, which brings me to this battery. This is a 2200 mAh LiperiAir battery. Both of these are the same battery by the same manufacturer and the same claimed C rating. However, the way you figure out the actual performance potential of a battery is you take the C rating, so 80C times 0.85 amps or times 2.2 amps. So in the case of this battery, it should be able to supply about 170 amps continuously. This one would be closer to 70 amps. So in a high amp draw RC vehicle, this one will not perform as well as this one. Not only will it run much shorter, it'll also be slower because there'll be more voltage sag. This one here will keep its voltage closer to 12.6 volts when it's fully charged, whereas this one will dip down deeper. Now I'm also testing this 3S Ovonic battery. This one here tends to not be a great performer. However, it was heavier than this battery, and typically heavier batteries are going to perform better. And this one is the heaviest battery. The weights are below. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing out here, see if we can get well over 40 miles an hour, and perhaps we can get really close or even get beyond 45 miles an hour. Stay tuned. First up is going to be the Urgenex 2200 mAh 3S LIPO. I have the GPS zeroed out and it's reading. .2 miles an hour. So that means last time out I probably didn't quite get it up to the top speed. I may not have had quite enough room. I'll go ahead and do a couple more runs and see if it can go any faster. That was definitely up to top speed. 42.3 miles an hour for the Urgenex. Now, as I said before, very few 3S LIPOs close to this size will fit in the truck. Most 2200 mAh LIPOs are quite a bit longer, like this one, and no way you're going to fit this in here in a reasonable mounting position. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and throw in this really powerful LiperiAir battery here, and it's at a huge disadvantage because it's so much smaller, but it's worth a shot, and we'll see if it can come close to performance of this one. If it does, maybe a 1600 or 1800 mAh battery in this size would be a good potential option in addition to this Urgenex. But 42 miles an hour, not bad. As you can see, the LiperiAir 850 fits in there with room to spare. All right, GPS is zeroed out and reading. All right, there we go. 43.8 miles an hour on the smaller but high performance LiperiAir battery. This thing's been a ripper from day one. So we're getting close to that claimed 45 mile an hour top speed. And this truck, it may well be able to do it with the right LIPO. But again, my biggest complaint about this truck is the small battery box. A bigger battery box would allow a larger battery, of course, which would have less voltage sag, everything else being equal. If you're using the same battery, for instance, and you have one that's 50% bigger, it's gonna be faster because the voltage is gonna sag less. So next up, I'm gonna try some bigger LIPOs, 2200 mile LIPOs, but they don't fit in the truck properly. I'm gonna tape them in here. All right, it's a ghetto setup, but what are you gonna do when you have such a small battery tray? And the GPS is zeroed out. .8 miles an hour. So it looks like I'm gonna stand corrected, and this truck is gonna be able to hit 45 miles an hour on 3S. That is with the right 3S. And I think the next one I'm gonna put in here is gonna do it and then some. Perhaps even 46 miles an hour, let's see. Now I have my LiperiAir 2200 mile LIPO in here. This 3S battery should have less voltage sag than any of these other LIPOs because it's a high performance battery and it's a large size. I can't wait to see how fast this thing goes, and I highly recommend these batteries for speed runs. The only problem is, of course, it's not fitting this truck. Okay, I have the GPS zeroed out again and it's reading. And here we go. That figures, my GPS blew off. Luckily, there's not much traffic out here this morning. It's hard to find speed run spots out here. 46 miles an hour. Let's see if the battery's still in here, secured. No, it got dislodged, but it seems okay. Tape this back in here and get another run or two. I was trying to maximize my range by holding the transmitter up in the air, and recording and holding it up in the air at the same time makes it pretty tricky to control the car. I'll let you get down the street before I go again. It's a little unstable. I think 46 is going to be our top speed. All right, well, there we go. This just goes to show you not all LIPOs are created equal when it comes to performance. Now, this Urgenex 2200 mile battery did hit 42 miles an hour today, which is pretty strong. However, this much smaller LiperiAir 850 mile battery hit 43 miles an hour. So that just goes to show you, even though this battery was at a huge disadvantage, it's nearly 3 times smaller, it still hung in there and actually outperformed the larger Urgenex. Now, the Ovonic typically is not that strong of a battery when I've tested it in my bigger cars. It did pretty good today. It does not deal well with high amp draw because it has voltage sag. And as the voltage dips, of course, the motor spins slower. What dictates how fast a car goes is how fast the motor spins. And what dictates how fast the motor spins is how much voltage it's getting. So while all these batteries have the same voltage when they're fully charged, under load, that voltage is going to sag. This one might only dip to 12 volts. This one might dip to, say, 11.5 volts under load. So again, minimizing voltage sag is the most important thing for top speed, and you're going to get that with a higher performance battery. Now, the LiperiAir exceeded the claimed top speed of, so this Urgenex battery is 72 millimeters long. That's the absolute longest you can fit in a small battery tray in this truck. Most other brands that make shorty 2200 mile LIPOs like this are 75 to 76 millimeters long. And the problem is, in this battery tray, if you can see, there's a piece of foam here you might be able to remove and get just a little bit more room, but this is the absolute biggest you can get in here without modifying the battery tray area. So I'm gonna look around a bit, and if I find a good battery to try, I'll see if I can get one of my sponsors to send it out to me. I'm thinking a larger one of these could be ideal. The only problem is I don't think they have one in this size range. So we'll see what I can come up with. But at any rate, this truck is great. I'm loving it. Haiboxing really nailed it with this truck. At $150 on sale, or even the original $200 asking price, you know, you get a lot of truck here, and definitely recommend it. So now, one more thing to consider: if you have a high performance battery and a lower performance battery, the lower performance battery with the greater voltage sag is going to hit that low voltage cutoff in the truck before the higher performance one. So while on paper they may have the same capacity, when you're running them under load, the voltage will sag in the lower performance battery, and you won't be able to access all of the total capacity the battery has. So with a battery like this, you might be able to access, say, close to 2,000 milliamp hours, whereas a battery like this, you might only be able to access 1,500 milliamp hours. And the greater the amp draw, the faster, the hotter the setup is, the greater the difference will be between a low performance and a high performance battery. Also, this battery weighs about 20 grams more than this one. Typically, heavier LIPOs are going to be faster. Now, this battery is about 40 grams lighter than this one. I'll put the actual weights in the video below. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what they were. But when looking for LIPOs, you want the heaviest one possible, because in general, that means they're going to perform better. And this one doesn't really hold 2,200 milliamp hour. When I tested it, it was actually around 1,850, maybe close to 1,900, but not quite a true 2,200 milliamp hour. So when shopping for batteries, you can keep that in mind. And even if you're only able to find a 1,800 or a 1,600 or even a 1,500, if it's one that's higher performance, it should be able to outperform this when it comes to top speeds. So more running videos with this HBX truck will be coming soon. Stay tuned.